This is MIcornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. We are continuing today's part 2 of this great topic: what characterize great leaders? What characterize great leaders? And today we want to start by saying, when you are under a great leader, you'll realize that your ideas matter to them. Your ideas matter to them. Great leaders are people that are listening to people. They're listening to subordinates, and they're listening to people that are working with them, because the ideas of others to great leaders, they matter. Now, great leaders are able to make sure that other people's ideas matter. And when your ideas start mattering there, or being the matter for the person that you report into, you must know that that person is a great leader. And as a young man, I always emphasize as well that you want to become a great leader, be able to listen to ideas of other people and let those ideas matter. Now, great leaders don't pretend to have all the answers. And that's great leadership. Great leadership always, they will confess that I don't know everything. I'm not actually a master of everything, and jack of all trades. I'm not. And also I want to try to avoid to say I know everything, because there are those that know things better than I do. Even the subordinates may know things better than you do. And I want to emphasize that, because when you understand that your subordinates may know things better than you are actually on the path of growth. You're going to learn quite a lot as a leader, and great leaders do that. And we want to urge you as a young man that when you are actually somebody that is a leader, so make sure that the ideas of others do matter. Listen to ideas of others. Make sure that you don't think that your ideas always are the ones that are that matter. Don't think that your ideas are the only ones that are right. So make sure that you listen to other people's ideas. Don't pretend to have it all. Don't pretend to know all the answers. So that's very important that we emphasize that. The other thing is, great leaders, they ask, what do you think? And they mean it when they ask. You know people that may ask you questions, but they don't really mean it. You know people that are actually not interested in asking from their subordinates. They are not asking from their own core leaders or people that are supporting them. They are not. A person is a leader, but don't actually consider the people that are working with them. They don't consider the leaders that are supporting them. They hardly ask anything from them. They hardly ask their ideas. They hardly ask their opinions, because when you have come to a point where you think that you know everything, you can't even ask anything from other people, because you feel like, what do I ask, because I know everything. Now, great leaders, when they ask you, what do you think? What is your opinion on this? They really mean it, because they are going to listen to you, and they are going to incorporate that opinion in their decision. They're not going to just listen to you for the sake of listening to you. There are those people that will ask you your opinion. Of course, they know in advance that they're not going to consider your opinion, but they're actually taking trouble of asking you. What's the use of asking my opinion if you're not going to use it or take it? If it don't mean anything to you, what's the use of my opinion? So you're not just allowed to contribute, you are expected to contribute. And that's powerful, because there are those people that are actually not expected to contribute, because the leader take decision on their own, and they make up their own decisions, and therefore they don't listen to anyone else. So therefore they've made up their minds already. So when they come in a meeting, they've already made up their minds. And now the question is, why do we need the meeting? And that's the question. But there are those leaders that have already finalized. And because they're finalized, they cannot listen to other people's ideas, because your idea do not matter. So the question is, why do they still ask you for your opinion? But we have people like that. But great leaders are those that would not just ask for fun, but they are asking because they need your idea and your opinion. Of course, they're going to make use of that opinion. Those are great leaders. Now, the other thing about great leaders is feedback is not ignored when you give them feedback. And I want to emphasize that the feedback is very important. And feedback that we're talking about is when the leader is being given feedback by subordinates. What a great leadership is this? Because leadership that is actually open to feedback from own subordinates. And that's great leadership. And I want to urge you as a young man to know that there are things that might be on the blind side. The things that may be on the blind side that you may not see them. You cannot be able to be aware of everything. Of course, you are not able to see everything around you. And there are those people that may see things that you might have overseen or seen them differently, or things that you haven't seen at all. And you may actually be run in danger because you haven't seen this particular thing. Now, there are behaviors that you may be engaging in, and you think that you're right. There are behaviors that you traditionally grew up in, or rather culturally grew up in, and you found them to be right, but there are people that can give you feedback to correct you about those behaviors. And that's very useful. And great leaders are open for feedback because they are aware that it's not everything that they do that is correct. It's not everything that they do that is right. So it's very important to be careful of that and therefore be able to be open for feedback. When you speak up, things shift. When you speak up, things shift. So therefore, when people give you feedback and they speak up, there'll always be a change. And also as a leader, you must speak up as well on things that frustrate you, or things that you may not know how to deal with, or problems that you may not be able to solve. And when you do so, you're allowing feedback from your own subordinates, feedback from your own colleagues as well. And that will help you. Because feedback is not ignored by people that are great leaders. They don't ignore things. They don't ignore feedback. They always take feedback very seriously, and they would actually use that feedback effectively. You don't have to shout to be heard, and that's very important, and great leaders are aware of that. And great leaders are actually are careful of how they speak, because how you articulate something or address issues may either bring what we call a negative implication or bring what we call a positive implication. And you always aim as a leader to bring positive implication about what you say. So therefore, how you address issues with your people is very important. And I always emphasize as well that as a leader, you should know your people to an extent that you know what are they sensitive on, what can they take, what can they not take. And when you address them as well, you know the tone and of your voice, what type of tone should you use. And this is very important because when you scream and think that you'll be heard, there are those that may not actually get that in that manner. So therefore, it may have what we call a negative implication, and that may not actually make the impact that it's supposed to make. So you don't have to shout, please, to be heard. And sometimes be careful of how you address people, because the way you address them is going to actually enforce what we call a negative attitude or even negative response. And that may not actually give you the desired results as a result. No, great leaders, they listen. Great leaders, they put an ear and listen to people. Great leaders don't only listen, but they learn from people. And they're aware that you can learn from anyone. You can learn from your subordinates. You can learn from the young and the old. You can learn from anyone. So that's very important that great leaders, they always give an ear and listen. And they know that every situation they can learn from. When people speak, they listen to them because they know it's an opportunity to learn. That's great leaders. And as a young man, please be ready to learn in every situation. Be ready to learn from everyone as well. And that's great leadership as you do that. And great leaders, they always do something about their learning. They always do something about their listening as well. They don't just listen for the fun of it, but they listen to do something about it. And when you know as a subordinate that your leader listens to you, you regard them as great leaders. And also you know that they don't just only listen, but they're going to do something about it. And that actually encourages you to say things that you need to say at any given time. I want to end up here today, your host, MIcornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. Remember, we are developing ordinary young men into extraordinary men. of wisdom, integrity, and character. And we're doing this through kingdom principles. This was part 2. Of course, we'll embark on part 3 tomorrow. Until we meet again in part 3, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's under Young Men Empowerment Forum. And please make sure that you click notification button. Our Facebook page is Young Men Empowerment Forum. And our Facebook page, MIcornus Phokane, as well. Like or follow us on those pages. The good Lord will bless you as you do that. Don't forget our TikTok account as well is under MIcornus Phokane. So please follow us on the TikTok account. Great videos that were posted in the past. I believe that will help you as you do so. Till we meet again with part 3 tomorrow. May the good Lord bless you and allow me to check out right now and say cheers for now.